Hi, I'm Crystal. I'm a registered clinical counselor in Vancouver, BC. Many of the people I work with are those working toward mental wellness while having to cope with physical illness. Today, let's talk about our habitual thinking styles and how they can sometimes be problematic. In psychology, these unhelpful patterns are called cognitive distortions. We all engage in them to some degree, and we all tend to have ones that pop up more regularly for us. These ways of thinking can hold us back if we are unaware of them because they shape how we view the world and the assumptions and beliefs we have. The two I'm going to discuss today are ones that I see regularly in my clients and admittedly in myself too. These two are catastrophizing and should statements. Catastrophizing is when you make assumptions about the worst happening. This might happen when a small event occurs and you believe that the worst outcome is certain to follow. For example, a person with diabetes sees a single high blood sugar reading and believes that there is no hope of ever achieving stable results. Or a person with food allergies is unable to find a choice on a restaurant menu and then becomes certain he can never eat out again. Having such thoughts over and over again can lead you to have persistent feelings of sadness, depression, and anxiety. Should statements reflect beliefs about how we think the world, or ourselves, ought to be. This shows up often for my clients in their beliefs about what they should be able to do, despite the limitations of illness. A woman might think, I should be able to maintain my full work and social schedule, even as I adjust to a new medication. Or another person might think, I shouldn't still be depressed about having chronic pain after all these years. These kinds of thoughts exacerbate the sadness and can lead to feelings of guilt and shame over something that is beyond your control. There are things that you can do to change your thinking. By watching this video, you are already on your way to one of the most important strategies: awareness. Simply becoming aware of your thought patterns is the first step to being able to modify the unhelpful assumptions. So start by trying to tune in and notice those moments when you find yourself jumping ahead to the worst-case scenario, or telling yourself that you should be able to do something that you are struggling with. Once you have become aware that you are in the midst of catastrophizing, there are more questions you can ask yourself to diffuse the intensity of your automatic beliefs. These questions include: how realistic is this thought? In many cases, there is partial truth in the original thought, and it's important to validate that. This is not about blind positive thinking, but rather about arriving at a more balanced perspective. Has there ever been a time when I thought the worst would happen, and it didn't? What if the best case scenario happened instead? If the worst did happen, how could I cope with that? What words can I say to myself that feel soothing and nurturing right now? Asking these types of questions gets you thinking about how there are certain elements of truth in the first thought, but that there are also other ways of viewing the situation. When you notice the should statements arise, there are things you can do as well. It helps to consider that often the should actually reflects a preference rather than a must. You can use this to reframe the initial thought. I should be able to juggle all my commitments can become, I would prefer if I could juggle all my commitments. I should be better by now becomes, I would like to be better by now. This simple change is powerful in shifting away from blaming yourself for the limitations you're experiencing. It allows a little bit of space to feel kindness toward yourself that things are not how you want them to be and that it is not a personal shortcoming. Also try asking yourself if you would extend the same should to a loved one in the same circumstance. It can be quite an eye-opener to look at it this way, as we frequently realize that we would have much more compassion in our expectations of what others could do in the same situation. It takes time and effort, but you can learn to reshape your thoughts in healthy ways that support you in challenging times. Be patient with the process and know that you are worth investing the time. If you have any other strategies you use, please feel free to share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I send thoughts of warm comfort and calm in your life.